My name's Charles Glatzer. I'm a professional wildlife photographer. I've always had a love for the outdoors. Nature photography is extremely difficult. How do we as photographers make the most of every situation? The 7D Mark II, the 100 to 400 millimeter lens, it offers a crazy amount of flexibility to be able to fire off 10 frames a second, accurately, precisely, tack sharp. It's a remarkable tool. The stars aligned, the bear came out, looked directly into the camera, all of a sudden, bam, you know you got it. That's the stuff you live for. That's what fires you up. That's what keeps you coming back.
Beth, one of the things that you're really well known for in your area is this Christmas event, because you've been doing this for 17 years, I think we talked about, a while.
A long time.
And I know it's evolved, and it originally started, I think you said, as a gift, right, for some of your clients?
Yeah, it originally started as sort of a give back to my clients. So if they came for a regular session throughout the year and they spent a certain dollar amount, they got entry into this Christmas portrait event, which was actually like our, lowest end price point of the year.
Right. So they kind of got to have this special pricing,
right?
If they were a client, of yours, and so that was their incentive and motivation. So they could do holiday cards, they could do Christmas gifts for grandparents, something that makes it really easy to purchase.
Exactly. Christmas cards were always such a big thing for clients, and they they would want to like schedule an event just for Christmas cards, which I know is not that profitable.
Right. Because Christmas card, it's hard to charge enough for Christmas cards to be profitable.
Right. So it's kind of a give back. Oh, we're going to have this special event, and you can come for your Christmas cards. At that time, you're going to gain free entry because you're a regular paying customer, et cetera, et cetera. So it kind of was like a win-win for the client. They got what they wanted, and then for me, it worked because they weren't doing a regular full-blown session just to get Christmas cards at that time of the year.
Yeah. So tell me about this. You kind of pack everyone in
you pack it in
3 days.
That's maybe an understatement. It's like 3 crazy days. Totally crazy. Yeah. So we do our appointments 15 minutes apart, which is,
wow.
We've done it for years, so we really have the system down, and I'm comfortable with that. But it is really, really it's kind of crazy. We just go full on,
Well, the thing I'm amazed at, and when we talk a little bit about what that's like for you, that you actually book so many sessions. I mean, how many sessions are you doing in 3 days?
We're doing about 20 to 24 sessions a day.
A day. So you're doing 70 plus sessions.
70 plus sessions in 3 days.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How do you get that volume of people in?
Well, one of the things, we have a regular client base. So actually throughout the year, we have the date set a year in advance. So when we do one event, we've already set the date for the next event. So all year long, as they're coming in, the way that it was a give back, we mentioned the Christmas. Would you like to sign up for our Christmas event? It's our, grandest event, lowest price point of the year. Everybody wants to do it, and we only have a certain number of spaces. So, literally in January, we're booking people for that Christmas portrait event in November.
Oh my gosh.
So as they come in for their 1 year, or they come in for their 2 year, or they're coming in for their 6 month, or a new baby, we're actually going ahead then and booking them. And that's, people have asked me about it, and I'm like, don't just sit back and wait for people to book. So at a point in the fall, we go down our client list, our roster for the year, and we say, hey, this event is starting to fill up. We want to make sure you are involved, and would you like for us to set you up?
So you're calling people. You're on
We're
the phone.
Literally, it's salespeople, right?
Right.
Salesmen make cold calls to a certain, and it's not really cold,
right?
Because we have a relationship with them. They are our clients. I'm not calling people that aren't our clients.
Right.
I'm calling people that we've worked with that year, or maybe in the previous year, and saying, hey, we want to make sure you're taken care of. We want to make sure you get into this event.
Right.
So you kind of pose it as you're doing them a favor by making sure they're included.
Right. And you do this before you open it to the the public,
right.
the general
and at
public.
a point, it's going to become open to the general public, and anybody can book, whether they're a client or not. Exactly. So,
but generally, are you booking just clients? Do you ever have to open it up to the general public?
we do.
Or?
We actually do for the Christmas, because we're doing 70 some. Yes, we do.
Gotcha.
Open it up to the general public, and we also have people that for years that have done it. You know, like for example, we have a lot of clients that's the only time of the year they come and see us all year.
Right. But it's what they can afford.
It's what
and
they
so
can
it's
afford,
a big deal for them.
and for them, it's a big deal. They're still getting the name and the brand and the experience and all that goes with it, and they love sending out their cards and sharing with their family and their friends and buying gifts. So we have some people that literally book every year for that one event.
Oh, wow.
And so we call them and say, it's time to get most of them book, actually. They leave their appointment and they book.
And they've already booked for the following year.
They book for the following year.
That's awesome.
Right that instant. So we're probably 50% booked a year in advance, because they literally book. They do their sales appointment and they book and leave.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know we were talking, and you said a lot of them purchase products that are kind of heirloom products.
Yes.
So that they want to get the same thing every single time they come.
Right.
So that they have this continuous story.
Exactly. And one of the ideas with that is to keep them coming back to me and not going elsewhere, or to deciding they're going to go to the mall and be photographed or whatever.
Right.
Because I felt like if I created these sort of custom created products that every year they would sort of build on, and they would be part of their decor.
Right.
And they could build on that, and they would have to come back to me to get next year's item to finish out their set or their collection. Oh, we have to go just do that.
And I like that idea too, that you created these products that they're going to bring out, and they're part of their Christmas decorations.
It is. It's part of the whole family tradition, bringing out the photographs from all the years of Christmas past. And they come in and they talk about it, because a lot of times we're shooting that in November when they're starting to get out their Christmas decorations, and they're looking through it. I mean, they literally, a lot of times my clients will actually send me a text when they're getting out their decorating their tree, and they send me like a table full of the ornaments, just saying, oh, how much they love them, and can't wait to add this year's ornaments to the tree. And it's really neat to see like how important they are to them and how much they love them.
That's really, really great. And I can only imagine that that's great marketing for you as well. Their friends come over and see their art and see their tree, and
tree covered in Beth Forrester ornaments. And a lot of times they don't just buy one per year, they buy 3 or 4. So
right.
That's good too.
That's fantastic. So when you're marketing that, I know that you work a lot with your current client base. How do you market outside of your current client base?
I mean, the traditional ways that most people are marketing on Facebook and Instagram, but really word of mouth marketing is probably our biggest the type of marketing that we do. We try to make a great client experience, and we want our clients to go out and talk to, I literally have a few of the clients that come to the Christmas event. They'll call and book 4 or 5 appointments for their friends.
Oh, well, nice.
So they're like doing the bookings for me. So that's really wonderful.
Is the session something that they pay for? Is it something that's part of a collection that they get, or how does that work?
Well, I mean, I've been doing it for 17 years, and because it started as a sort of a free entry into the thing, my clients at this point don't pay for a session fee. If I was going to start it from the ground up and I was in a new location and started, I would probably charge like a $25 session fee.
Something small.
Something very small. You want minimal entry, but at least have some commitment.
Right.
But for us, we've done it so many years that I'm comfortable with where we are. And that's one reason the 15 minutes we pack them in. We're always going to have 2 people a day when you're dealing with little children that have gotten sick or something's happened and they can't make it. So
I know a lot of people worry if there's no commitment that people are going to just not show up.
Yes.
Does that happen very often?
To be honest with you, like I said, maybe in a weekend booked with 76 appointments, we maybe have probably 3 that don't show up.
That's actually, for something that they haven't paid for yet, that's really amazing.
For something they haven't paid for yet, it is.
But it's kind of a testament, one, to how long you've been doing this and the level of clientele that you have.
Right.
But do you call them ahead of time? Do you remind them?
Right. So we'll book the appointment. They get like a appointment reminder card that they can take home, and when they book.
Right.
And then like a week or so before, they're on the phone and we're calling them and we're saying, you have this appointment. We have people that are waiting to get in. Are you going to be able to make it? So yes, we're calling them a few days out, making sure that they are coming. And it's interesting because sometimes too, like somebody might call and say, my child is sick. Is there anything you have tomorrow?
Right.
Like, can I make it tomorrow? People have like stopped their whole vacation and said, we're not going to go on vacation till Sunday because we want to come to your portrait event on Saturday.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love the way that you wrote your cards. For the consideration of others, please do not be late. Missed appointments will not be rescheduled, and that no clothing changes are permitted. So I think it kind of sets that parameter for what this is. Because I know when you're running, especially, you have a boutique business, you have a price point that people have to kind of get to if they want to have you photograph a regular portrait. But for this, because it is more of a special and kind of focused, it's more of a high volume, right? So your price point isn't quite as high. You're giving them a discount. How do you differentiate between your brand, your regular brand, and this more kind of high volume brand that you're discounting? Right.
I get asked this question all the time. People are like, well, how do you not damage your brand by offering these lower prices?
Right.
And I say, well, that's really a good point. And I'm not into like discounting very, very often, hardly ever. But the thing is the client has to sacrifice. So they're going to make sacrifices in order to get the lower price point. So if they've got 15 minutes, the set does not change, so there's no option. People come in, well, can I do another set? No, this is the only one.
Right. And the lighting doesn't even change.
The lighting,
everything is set.
Nothing changes. Everything is set. They are offered certain products, so these are the cards that we offer. There's no customization as far as, personalization or something like that.
Right.
But no customization to the session itself or the products that we offer. We have these templates, and you can work within that. So they're sacrificing certain things in order to achieve those discounts.
Right.
Now, we have some clients that opt not to do that. So we have a lot of clients that never come to our Christmas event because they want a more customized experience. They're willing to pay full price, have a custom card, a custom session, all built around doing that. So if you're
catering to two really different audiences.
Exactly. So for this volume event, it's fine. If you do the client XYZ, you achieve the discount. So as long as you're making them sacrifice or do something in order to achieve it, it's really not going to hurt your brand. And your brand establishes that that's such a good deal that you are willing to come in for a 15-minute session.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And then you're keeping that very, very different, which is great. So I know that, again, 15-minute sessions, so you're kind of rocking and rolling up there. You're
just a little bit.
Got a lot going on with all the kids. Tell me a little bit about how your sales process works. So they're doing everything same day? Same day,
yes. So at the point, let's kind of go through the whole system just a little bit, how we're doing it. So they come in for their 15-minute session. They come in with me. I shoot. I try to shoot probably, I know that most of the products have at least sort of 3 images in them. So cards and galleries and some of the gifty items have multiple images. And that obviously is going to raise my sales average.
Sure.
Than them just selecting one. So I'm trying to get 2 or 3 different looks with each child. So I would say that most sessions on like one child would be about 15 images. If they have multiple children, then you're going to see something like 20, 25 images for the family, because we're going to do like the 3 kids together and then one of each child separately and things like that. So they leave me. They're 15 minutes and out. I run in and I take the cards. So I have a designated person, that's all they do all day is just unload cards, back the cards up, and then shoot the JPEGs out to the 3 ordering stations.
Okay.
Now in those 3, this is really important too. Like I'm a RAW shooter. I shoot everything in RAW. So on that day of that event, I'm capturing RAW and JPEGs.
Okay.
Because that's
make
fast.
That simple.
It's going to make it really fast for him to get the JPEGs down to the client. So basically at that point, he separates the files out. We have the RAW ones. So once they place the order, we'll go select the images, take the RAW images out, and I'll go into Lightroom and actually acquire them, making the necessary. The lighting doesn't change, so I'm not going to make a lot of changes, but some people are paler than others.
Right.
So you might be adjusting just a little bit for your levels. So then he pushes out to the 3 workstations. So I'll have 3 persons on sales staff, 1 at each station. So he pushes the JPEGs to the stations, and then the client comes down to the stations, and they call them in, and they sit down at the computer, and they go through them in Lightroom. We have a simple price list. We have only 4 packages to choose from. We have the cards to choose from. Everything's there. So each station has the full range of products.
Gotcha.
So each station would have this year's set of Christmas cards. They would have that. So if we're offering the galleries, they would have the gallery, the 3 galleries that we're offering that year. Why 3? Because people like to make choices.
Right.
So, and the same way with the cards. So they have the ornaments, they have everything right there for them.
But it's still very, very simple.
It's simple, yes.
And so going back to the cards real quick. So every year you have a different set of cards.
Sort of. I mean, we mix in some cards from previous years. I just kind of look through the old cards and decide which ones would fit with the set. I change the set every year.
Okay.
So, and that's the interesting part too. People come in and they're like, oh, what is your set going to look like this year? It becomes very exciting for them to see what I'm going to do.
Right. That's great.
So, but the cards, we kind of try to make the cards. So I'll usually make about 5 to 10 new cards that are close to set. Like we did a woodland set one year.
Okay.
So everything sort of had a real mountain, earthy sort of feel to it. And then one year we did a very formal, black and white with a damask set. So we had,
Very cool.
So usually the ones that I create to go with the set are the best sellers that year.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I love that there's a customization, but you've done it so that it actually makes your workflow very streamlined.
Right. We want to be able to take, open up the template that they've chosen, take the 4 or 5 images that they've selected and just drop them in and change the name and you're ready to go. So it's really, really simple on the back end as well.
Yeah, I'm not wasting a lot of time in
Yeah.
customizations and color changes.
Like if I can sit down and it can take me like literally hours to create a custom card. And a lot of people are telling me they're creating custom cards for their clients. And I'm like, oh, you're spending a lot of time doing that.
And for the volume that you're sending out a lot of cards.
What was that number I told you? We sold like 2,400 Christmas cards last year at our event. So, that was individual cards, and they're buying them in sets of 25. So most people buy about 50 cards.
That's a lot
of
orders.
Here's the other thing. I think last year we had 80% of everybody that came to the event bought Christmas cards.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to talk about pricing in a little bit, but one of the things I wanted to touch on, cards, it's hard to make your markup on cards.
Yes.
Right? So it's not like you can charge and get your 25% cost of sales on those necessarily when you're accounting for the time. How do you add cards in? Do they have to? So
usually for us, obviously like printed prints. And this is a print, everything is print based. Last year we did the whole event, but every year we've done the event, we've never sold a digital file. So we're selling prints. So usually we start with, they have to place a minimum print order before they can go get cards. So, and that's usually $90. So for a $90 package or a $90 order on prints, then they can get the discounts on the cards.
That sounds great. So that way there's at least some cushion in there.
Right, because prints are the most profitable thing that I sell.
Absolutely.
The cards are a lot lower margin, so I want to make sure that I have a high margin product that they buy first, and then they can move on to the cards.
And it's great because then that goes out to all of their friends, and it's kind of like marketing for you.
It's free, direct mail marketing, paid for by my clients, and postage paid. I figured out last year for those 2,400 cards, it was over $1,200 in postage that my clients spent marketing to my potential new clients.
Like, this is good.
Like, yes.
That's fantastic. So going back to the system and the process of working with them. I know you've got a really simple price list, which makes things really, really easy for them.
And we want it to still look high end, because we are, a high end boutique studio. So when they're sitting at that table with their ordering, we want them to feel and touch something that's really high end, but we want to make it really simple. I like to be really bright and cheerful because that's a sort of a cheerful time for people. And wouldn't you like to look at something fun and happy while you're spending money than something just boring and drab?
Exactly. Beth, I love how this is designed. This is so easy and easy to read, and really kind of points you right to where you want your clients to go and the different products you're wanting them to buy. Do you have anything like this? I know that you do a lot of design work for photographers. Do you have something like this that they can actually purchase for this event?
Actually we do on the PhotoDuds website, photoduds.com. It's called the Wise Christmas set. So it actually has the price menu there. It has the order forms. It has the marketing materials. It has all the things you need to basically just go right into hosting your own Christmas event.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so fantastic, because it's so hard. I think sometimes as a photographer, it's so hard to wear all the hats.
Yes.
You know, and so then to go in and to have to reconfigure and redesign and rethink and repurpose.
Creating creating the pricing structure, creating the collateral, creating the products, creating everything. It's a lot of work. So I work with a graphic designer. So to create products that really, I say, people need to order this and they need to go to this. So she actually makes it visually, directs them through design.
Right.
So I tell her what I need the price list to do and what I need the products to do. So that's how we create such great producs for other photographers.
That's really
for
fantastic.
me to use and for other photographers as well.
I need that. And then when you get down to your order forms, let's just kind of going through some of that stuff. So you have 3 people that are selling at the same time.
Correct.
How long does a typical sales session
Well,
take?
usually it takes a little bit more time than the actual shooting portion.
Right.
But that's because they have a hard time narrowing down the images, which, yay, that's good. That's what I like to hear. But we try to, the order form is actually really important because it really directs them as to how they're going to go through the sales process.
Okay.
So again, it's kind of laid out. So first thing is package. What's your image and what's your package? That's the first thing on the price list. So they look down, okay, I've got to choose my package.
Choose your package.
It says that on the menu. What do? Choose your package, choose your cards. You're directing them right down that list. And same thing with this.
It's kind of the assumption. Like
this is how it's done and this is how it's going to go. Exactly.
It's what everybody does.
Right. So they can sit down with that order form right there and they see how they're going to move through that process. So to me, it's part of that sales process by just having that step 1, 2, 3, 4 right in front of them.
Yeah. It's not a yes or no. It's just like, which one.
Right. Exactly.
Which is fantastic.
So
then you take them through this, right? And then, so that would typically take
I would say like 20 minutes, maybe something like that.
So they're staying pretty busy too, because you're getting them down here.
And that's why we have 3 workstations, because I couldn't just have one because they're not done. And sometimes we'll have all 3 workstations full at one time. Some people are slower than others at selecting, and they have a hard time making decisions. Other people are just like in and out really fast.
Right.
So, but we have to have 3 workstations to accommodate, because it does take a little longer for the sales process than it does for the shooting.
Right. Which is really good.
And they pay for them that day, so they're all prepaid. So that's really nice. So they pay the balance in full the day of the session, and they're on their way. It's all done. And in a few
then
weeks.
You've got about how many weeks before you get it back to them?
2 to 3 weeks. We try to have everything delivered by the first part of December.
So you're scheduling this mid-November?
Because we want to have, people want to send their cards and sort of align their gifts and things like that out at the first part of December.
Right. So that gives them enough time to get that product turned around, get it to them, and for them
this is one of those events where we sell a lot of kitschy, what I would call kitschy type of items that we don't, some of these things are not offered for regular sessions. It's only offered at these events too.
Which also helps to differentiate it from your regular product.
Exactly. And they're again, smaller items, the little ornaments and things like that.
Yeah, these are great. These are really, really great. I love these. I love the idea that they come back every year and that they're dated so that they know exactly when that was.
And we'll make new designs every year for the ornaments as well. So.
And then also just want to go back real quick. I know we talked a little bit about this, but you actually start your calendar. Mm-hmm. You start actually before the next event,
right?
Right? Or
so while they're sitting down there, the staff, they all have this, calendar for next year, and they go ahead and they book people. Like, would you like to go ahead and book for next year? Thanks, your orders I'll take care of. Would you like to go ahead and book for next year? And a lot of them do, because they want the premium dates. Like everybody, Saturday. It's odd. Everybody wants Saturday. We do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Saturday is really popular, and Sunday is really popular. Friday is the least popular day. But Sunday is interesting too, because a lot of people they like, we do a lot of families on Sunday, because they go to church and they're already dressed, and so then they come right from there. So
Right.
you know, the
time right after
church
church.
times are the premium times. So a lot of the people are going ahead and booking that, and people that have young children know they
Right.
really want the morning, or people that, you know, maybe nurses, they know they get off at 3, they really need that 4 to 5 time slot. So,
Right. I love that you're planning ahead. Like that's such a great part of this whole process, is how you start so early and how it becomes something that's actually for your client. It's actually a benefit for them. Even though, I mean, you do really, really well as far as your sales over those 3 days. You're doing 20,000+ in sales,
Yes,
right? So it's a great way to get a lot of people in. I know we talked earlier too. It's hard to photograph kids and kind of do it all over the place, especially when you're photographing high school seniors, right? It takes you off focus a little bit, so you can get them all done at one time.
Right, exactly.
Which is really good.
It's nice to get it like all balled up into nice 3 neat little days, and then woo, okay. Like, I can be crazy doing that for 3 days. But that's kind of, you know, I used to be back, you know, 5 or 6 years ago. I actually didn't. Every year I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this event. I don't want to do this. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to change that. I'm going to change it, and I'm going to make it so where I love it. So now, before that 3 days, I'm like, woohoo, because I know I'm going to do over $20,000 in 3 days. I've done it the last 3 or 4 years consistently since I changed. And I did it by setting goals. I knew that I wanted every client to come in, and for 15 minutes, I wanted them to spend an average of $300. And we hit that average every year. We have been. So once we changed to that, and I sort of manipulated, the no buying the cards until you buy the package. This is the way the system works. We added some gift items on and gave them bonuses if they bought multiple in those gifts, and added a few things, and changed the pricing structure, and it became really profitable. And I was like, I have no problem going in for 3 days and feeling like at the end of the day I need medication. But I'm like, woo-hoo!
But it's worth it.
It's worth it, especially at Christmas time. You know, everybody. You know, it's really nice to know that's coming ahead, and so it makes it worthwhile if you can do that. And you have to have that goal to set to know where you want that price point. Again, that's so different. I mean, opposite end of the spectrum from, you know, like my high school senior price list.
Right. Because it's so much higher volume.
Right. Yes, exactly. I mean, it's the most profitable that I am all year long. Per hour at Christmas is the most profitable I am the entire year. But I can't do that.
You can't maintain that.
I couldn't book that many clients for 300 days, nor could I actually do that physically.
Right.
But that's, you know, it's good.
That's fantastic. But thank you so much for sharing your Christmas promotion with us. I hope that inspires a lot of people to get out there and do something like this.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.